All right, what's up, guys? So I'm here with Dan Singjoy and Matthias. We are here to interview Matthias, the founder of ZEOS. ZEOS is a super exciting project on EOS, and there's been a lot of questions coming our way, or Matthias's way, and so he reached out to Dan and I to do this intro interview. And the idea here is we're going to be producing more content with questions that you guys want to know more about the project. But we're just getting started, and we're going on the fly, and we're going to do the best we can to provide as valuable as content as possible to you guys. So definitely leave your comments and questions in the comment section below on this video. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you guys to the founder of ZEOS, Matthias. So Matthias, how's it going?
Yeah, thanks, Felix, and thanks, Dan, for doing this. Very excited about this. I know a lot of people are waiting for this. I was planning to do some kind of AMA already after I released the white paper, but yeah, haven't had the time really to do that, and I'm also not super skilled with all this media stuff. So super happy that you guys are with me and also doing this on a regular basis in the future. That would be great.
Yeah, thank you, Matthias. Thank you so much for reaching out to us. It's been a pleasure speaking with you over these past couple of weeks and learning more about you and learning about ZEOS. And ZEOS is as Felix was saying, a super exciting project. So thank you so much for all the amazing development work and everything you've been doing there. And I'm really excited for our discussion today and then all the cool things that you're building with ZEOS. So yeah, thanks very much for reaching out. And I suppose we should get started and jump right into some questions about ZEOS. Does that sound good to you guys?
Sounds good.
Yep, sounds great. So yeah, like I said, this is an intro video, so we're going to be, at least coming from my point of view, I'm going to be asking the very basic questions, trying to understand this from the most basic level. So with that being said, Matthias, what is ZEOS?
Yeah, ZEOS is basically Zcash built on EOS. In contrast to Zcash, which only has its native Zcash token, I built ZEOS. It's basically an extension of the Zcash application to support multiple token symbols of different token contracts and even different token types like fungible tokens, non-fungible tokens, and authentication tokens. It basically makes all assets on EOS full-fledged privacy coins, FTs, NFTs, without any modification of existing token contracts necessary. So you will be able to move your EOS assets that you hold in your transparent and traceable EOS account into private ZEOS wallets and transact privately among other ZEOS wallets with other users. And you will be able at any time to move your assets back from your private ZEOS wallet into your transparent EOS account, basically. Okay,
cool. So basically ZEOS is, at the most basic level, it's a private coin. You've got other privacy coins out in crypto. Probably the most well-known one is Monero, but one of the biggest difference between ZEOS and a privacy coin like Monero is Monero's got its own blockchain. ZEOS is being built on top of EOS. So EOS is very much similar to Ethereum in the sense that it is a smart contract platform, meaning that you can build applications on top of the EOS blockchain. And so ZEOS is a private coin application that is being built on top of the EOS network. And so yeah, it's for private transactions so that you can send your transactions privately without it being able to be traced. And so you have the privacy of how you're spending your money. When you have your bank account, you're not posting your public bank, you're not posting your bank statements publicly. And so that's partly why you would want to have that private transactions and privacy there. And that will lead us into some further discussions, but I know Dan's going to lead us with the next one.
Cool. Yeah, sounds great. Thank you, Matthias, for the answer, and thank you, Felix, for the breakdown. Much appreciated. Yeah, and then in addition to, from what I understand, ZEOS is not just a private token, but it enables a fully private ecosystem where all the tokens, as Matthias, I think he just explained, or he's explained several times, all the tokens on EOS can use ZEOS to become more private or become private, and then also to be able to interact with all the other cool applications on EOS too. So there's lots of exciting parts about it. But right now, something I want to ask to Matthias is how exactly it works. Like, where do the tokens go? Like, if I have tokens on a private ZEOS wallet, then they're on the EOS blockchain still, but they're moving. Normally, when tokens are on the EOS blockchain, then they're all public. So how are they still on the EOS blockchain, but they move into a ZEOS wallet, and where exactly do they go that makes them private but on the EOS blockchain?
Right. So yeah, the way this basically works is, as we all know, right, EOS is transparent, everything is traceable, and tokens cannot just leave the blockchain. So what it means when I say you move your tokens from your EOS account into a private EOS wallet, what actually happens, what is observable on the EOS blockchain, is that your assets that you want to make private are actually moving into custody of the ZEOS token contract, and at the same time, private UTXOs, like representations of these assets, are being issued into your ZEOS wallet, and those private representations are basically what you transact with other users. So the assets are still there, of course, and they are still visible, but they are, for an observer, it just looks like the ZEOS token contract is the owner of the asset. And the whole ownership is being represented by those private UTXOs, which users can exchange fully untraceably with each other. And at any time, you can redeem your assets back by burning those private UTXOs. And, while doing so, the EOS token contract will transfer the assets back into your transparent EOS account. So they are all still there. Assets are fully auditable on the blockchain layer, but ownership becomes fully untraceable. That's basically the magic of it.
Fascinating. Yeah, the magic of the math of ZK snarks that enable that is beautiful and super cool. Thanks for explaining that very much, Matthias, and I'll pass it over to Felix. I think that Felix probably has another question to ask Matthias now.
Yeah, super interesting. But partly one of the main questions that I wonder is what gets you most excited about ZEOS? I think you have to have a lot of passion to pursue a project that's it's kind of bold, right? You're gonna have a lot of critics out there when it comes to privacy coins. You hear it in people, a lot of people, or some people, they try to harp at privacy coins, saying that a lot of nefarious acts can come about that. And without getting too deep into that, I think referring to kind of how I talked about the reasons for having the privacy coins, like no one's posting their bank statements publicly, and so that's partly why you want to have privacy. There's a lot of other reasons, but most fundamentally, it's my belief, and I believe obviously us here as well, that privacy is a basic human right. But I am curious to know, though, from you, Matthias, like what gets you most excited about ZEOS?
Yeah, that's right. When it comes to financial matters, everyone wants privacy. So for me, this is really just the logical next step for DeFi and blockchain in general, to move towards privacy. The transparency was great to get trust in this new technology, but it's really time to move on. And yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that get me excited about ZEOS. The fact that basically all assets on EOS automatically become full-fledged privacy coins without any modification necessary. But I think the most interesting thing is, and you guys already mentioned that a little bit, is the fact that it's built on EOS, and that you, in contrast to other privacy coins that are built on their own private blockchain, you mentioned Monero and others, you don't have smart contract functionality on those blockchains, because it's impossible to build smart contracts on a private UTXO model. It just doesn't work. The fact that ZEOS is built on EOS has this cool advantage that since EOS is a general purpose smart contracts platform where you can basically build any application on, as you mentioned earlier, Felix, the fact that ZEOS is built on top of that same blockchain enables private interactions with transparent applications on EOS. And that is something that I personally haven't seen yet in the privacy space. So as we said already, like most of the privacy coins are built on their very own blockchain, and all you can do with those coins is basically holding them in your wallet, and that's it. And then you can transact privately with other users, but there's not much more you could do, right? And there are some solutions, you know, like bridges, for instance. There's the secret network for Monero and all that, but those are, like, as I said, not really, since it's not on the same blockchain, it's not really a trusted solution. With every network bridge, there's trust involved. And with the ZEOS, we have this privacy protocol built on a general purpose blockchain where you have the possibility to privately interact with transparent applications on EOS. And I think this is the most exciting part, at least for me, definitely the most exciting part about this.
Yeah, I agree. It's a very cool part of it. There's a lot of exciting parts about ZEOS, but that is a super exciting aspect of it. I think all of us have been in the EOS community for a long time. I've been here since basically the beginning, 2018, and following EOS constantly and working with EOS constantly. And there are so many exciting and helpful applications, useful for all kinds of different reasons, and so much more coming in development every day. And the ecosystem as a whole is growing rapidly. So it's really exciting to think about how ZEOS will interact with all these EOS applications. And then also, there's lots of other things that you mentioned. Like, so as I mentioned before, we've been discussing, Felix, Matthias, and I, we've been meeting for the past few weeks now, and we've been speaking for a couple of hours here and there and just exploring all the cool things. Matthias has been introducing us to how, like, ZEOS, I've been following ZEOS for the past, I don't know, year, like kind of just loosely. I was following the project, I heard about it and so forth. I know a lot of people are excited about it, but I wasn't aware of like the breadth and the huge amount of, like, there's so much more to the project than I understood, that I understand now, and I'm starting to understand and learn more than I knew about before, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago since we started talking. And so it's been really exciting and interesting and fascinating learning these things from you, Matthias. So I'm wondering, I'm enjoying this learning journey the whole time, but I'm wondering here if there's any other cool features that you'd like to share that maybe you've shared before, but that you think are really cool to just share now for this introduction that you haven't shared with us yet.
Right. So yeah, what I just said, right? The private interactions with transparent applications, that is super exciting. One term that I try to introduce or to coin is like private DeFi, because that is probably the most exciting applications about it. Other cool features of the protocol are going to be you will be able to also transact privately without EOS account. That is something that is possible on EOS thanks to the powerful account and permission system. So especially with some new features that they are going to integrate in the new Mandel upgrade, like, which is the new EOS.io version, basically the community version. They're going to add some really cool features that will enable ZEOS to provide users with the ability to transact without having to have an EOS account. If you look into the white paper, we will probably go into more detail in future videos about that. It's a very cool concept. Basically, how it works is you will be able to just sign your transactions using a public permission of the ZEOS proxy account. It's going to be a special account with a special permission that anyone will be able to use. But instead of paying for the EOS resources yourself, and like for CPU, net, and RAM, you will be able to just pay a little transaction fee denominated in ZEOS. And the proxy account will then, make sure that the transaction, is being settled and being paid for without the user, having to care about EOS resources at all. So yeah, that's also a very interesting concept. I think that's something that we will dive into much deeper in a future video maybe. But yeah, for anyone who's interested, there's a whole section about that in the white paper under the chapter, what was it? Transactions without EOS account. So that's definitely also a really cool feature. It basically means that people will be able to use ZEOS the same way like legacy cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin or Zcash, right? You will have, interestingly, it will be, you will be able to use the exact same Zcash private key for ZEOS, because it's really almost the exact same application. So the whole address and key scheme, everything will be exactly like in Zcash. And also transacting will be very similar like in Zcash, where you also just pay a little transaction fee denominated in Zcash. And you will be able to transact the exact same way with ZEOS on EOS without EOS account. So yeah.
That's awesome. That makes it so much easier than EOS accounts currently, and has so many helpful functionalities. And also, of course, for people who are interested in checking the white paper, there's a lot of great information there. People can check that out at zeos.one, and then you can find the link at the bottom to go to the GitHub page for Matthias to learn much more.
Yeah.
Felix, what do you think about this here? Oh, yeah, please.
Yeah, we'll leave the in the description of the video. We're gonna leave some links there to one, the white paper, and to the website. And yeah, you'll definitely find more information there in the description. So make sure to check that out. But yeah, I've given a brief overview of the white paper, and that's something we plan on bringing to you guys as well. So especially if you're very interested, make sure you let us know in the comments. But basically, yeah, there's a lot to cover in the white paper, but I've seen things like Z assets. I guess, yeah, first to start, like Z asset, what does that mean?
So Z assets are derivatives on real world assets like gold, silver, or fiat currencies. In crypto, you often hear the term synthetic assets for this. One example for those are collateralized debt positions like Vigor, for instance, where you can create a dollar stable token or stable tokens who are pegged to the dollar, and you back them with over collateralized with collateral that is worth more than the debt position, obviously, right? Z assets work similar but a little different. Instead of having the over collateralization on the individual level, I moved that to the protocol level, which has the advantage that users will be able to exchange ZEOS tokens basically on a one-to-one basis for synthetic assets. So users will be able to burn $1 worth of ZEOS tokens to mint $1 worth of synthetic assets, which could be US dollar, gold, or silver, something like that. The big advantage of this is that you have a way more capital efficient synthetic assets, because as you know, for collateralized debt positions, you have to lock up a bunch of dollars of collateral to mint only $1 worth of synthetic assets. With Z assets, you will be able to exchange the same amount of collateral basically for the same amount of synthetic asset. The big difference is that the risk is being transferred to the ZEOS token holders, and there's a big difference in how this works to known mainstream protocols like Terra and Luna. This is also something maybe we can dive into deeper in a future video, but for now it's just important that synthetic assets are going to be a more capital efficient asset class than collateralized debt positions, and the tokenomics around that differ in the way from other protocols like Terra or Luna, that there's actually a mechanism that slows down the burning of ZEOS tokens, and the protocol starts to lock up external collateral if the leverage becomes too high. This is something that all these other protocols completely lack. They just burn tokens without limit, and that means they burn valuation basically. And it's very interesting if you look into the lunar crash. The moment that the market cap of the synthetic assets exceeded the market cap of the share token, Terra, was exactly the moment when the protocol collapsed. And this is exactly what Z assets are designed in a way to prevent that, by locking up external collateral at some point if the overall valuation of the synthetic assets becomes too big. But yeah, again, that might sound too complicated. This is probably something, again, in the white paper, there's a section about that. But yeah, I think this is something that we can go into more detail in the future.
Yeah, sounds great, Matthias. I'm looking forward to going more into detail about this in the future. I wasn't aware of this huge capital efficiency and all these mechanisms yet. I've read some of the white paper, and I'm looking forward to reading in more detail, and I'm very much looking forward to our future discussions as well, where we'll explore this more. And yeah, this is just a high-level overview here, and there's a lot to explain. So sometimes we go into the details, but we'll also try to keep it high so that everybody can learn about ZEOS for the first time here, and then in future videos, then we'll break down all these things in a much more granular approach and much more detail. Something that I also want to ask regarding these Z assets. So as Felix mentioned briefly before, and as is detailed in the white paper, and you've also been putting out some really cool tweet threads as well, there's a ZEOS DEX that's involved. So DEX, of course, decentralized exchange. It allows you to exchange assets, exchange the Z assets privately. So basically, the ZEOS token, in addition to any other token that's on EOS, such as EOS or DApp or Vigor or a stablecoin or whatever other coin or token that there is, can be traded as a Z asset and done in a private way. So you can trade any asset between each other privately on EOS. Is that correct? And is there anything that you'd like to explain to us about the ZEOS DEX here as an introduction?
Right. So first of all, the ZEOS DEX is not going to be limited to Z assets. Z assets will just be one, the Z assets are going to be a normal EOS fungible token. So other exchanges will also be able to integrate them. So the ZEOS DEX will be a full-fledged EOS decentralized exchange where any token can be traded. I think the most exciting thing about it, other than that you will be able to trade privately on it, will be that it is a deep liquidity DEX. I think Dan Larimer coined that term when he built Bullish. So the way I understand it is that it's basically a combination of order book exchange and liquidity pool. And this is exactly how I built the ZEOS DEX as well. So any user will be able to create a market on the ZEOS DEX, like, any token pair that you can think of on EOS. And each market will be a combination of order book and liquidity pool. And it's basically, you have, like, it's in one exchange. So it's basically means that you have instant arbitrage between those two. When you have those discrete liquidity points, right, where you have orders in the order book, and between those orders, you have the liquidity pool. So, when orders are being matched, the algorithm just always chooses the best price and matches your order against the book and the liquidity pool at the same time, depending on where you get the best price. So this is how I understand Bullish, and this is how I built the ZEOS DEX. Another thing about it is going to be, like, market makers are going to earn on this exchange while takers pay. And yeah, what I already mentioned is, of course, it's the ZEOS exchange. So you will be able to trade completely privately on this exchange using, using your ZEOS wallet. So you will be able to just trade right out of your ZEOS, or out of your private ZEOS wallet on the ZEOS DEX, which is, just a normal EOS IO decentralized exchange. And yeah, I'm super excited about this. More on that also in the future.
Sweet deal. Yeah. Man, there's so many features that in ZEOS that, yeah, like, again, to reiterate, that white paper in the description, check it out, and ask any question that belongs to any of, you know, the different features here. But, you know, one of the things that I'm super excited about, which is actually how Matthias and I and Dan all kind of collaborate, like, you know, came together, and now we're collaborating, is through the fractal process. So that's one thing that's also in the white paper, is the ZEOS fractal. And or I don't know if that's in the white paper or not, but is that, Matthias?
A little bit. I haven't, when I wrote the paper, that wasn't finalized yet. I mentioned fractal democracy already, but yeah.
Okay, yeah.
If you want, I just take over on that one. So as you said, exactly, I'm super excited about this whole fractal stuff. I love how people, you know, all the collaboration that comes out of this. It's just amazing. Yeah, as you said, this is also how we met and got to know each other a little bit better. I mean, obviously, I knew you guys already a little bit because of your you know, media creation and all that. But you know, that what really got me super excited about the stuff is really that people come together every week, and you know, there's just such a great networking that takes place there every week. And when it comes to ZEOS, so first of all, there are different aspects about the fractal that is just super, you know, interesting in regard, you know, to ZEOS. So one thing is that people are being rewarded for contributions, right? This is like the whole concept of it. And you know, when it comes to ZEOS, ZEOS is really a true grassroots project. There are so many people who already contributed, you know, whatever it was, right? Like people are making Telegram stickers or all kinds of stuff, helping to get the token listed on CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, and all that. And you know, and so far I started, I rewarded the everyone basically out of my own pocket from my stash, which is fine. But my vision for ZEOS is that we will set up a fractal as well, and get this up as quick as possible also, so that we have a proper incentive system for people who want to contribute, because there's a lot of stuff, and we have an active community, and I can't wait to set this up. Another way, another very important thing about this is like the whole decentralized governance aspect, like from a legal point of view. You know, handing the accounts over to a DAO, you know, that will govern them. Obviously, I shouldn't be, you know, in charge of the ZEOS token contract and all that. So at some point, we need to hand them over. One way how you can do this on EOS is just hand over the permission to the BPs. But you know, that makes governance difficult, because you always have some parameters that needs to be set. And the idea is that like the ZEOS fractal is responsible for, or basically like the on-chain owner of all those smart contracts that are going to be deployed, you know, for the EOS ecosystem, and having that set up in a way and governed in a way that is truly decentralized, and you know, no one is really in charge of anything. And also I want to mention like Gregory Wexler, which is who is part of the ZEOS of the Fractally team. He looked into a legal structure for that, which is UNA. So this is also something that we should look into for the ZEOS fractal. So yeah, this is something like the whole fractal stuff. This is something that I also want to deploy rather sooner than later, because it's just very important, I guess, to have the whole project set up in a way that there are no, you know, attack vectors or whatever. You know, just having a robust system that can withstand, you know, all kinds of things that, you know, challenging things that might come up in the future. Because we just saw how the government cracked down on Tornado Cash, right, on Ethereum, and without getting too much into all that, I expect way more in the future, not only for privacy projects, but also, for the whole DeFi sector. Governments are not going to like that. They're going to try to regulate this. And I think we need to, set ourselves and our projects, our protocols up in a way that they are truly censorship resistant. And
Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, I'm super excited with the ZEOS Fractal. This is how we all met really. And this is an opportunity also for, you guys who are watching these videos, for the community to get involved and have a voice within this project. And it's super exciting knowing that Matthias and ZEOS is interested in getting a ZEOS Fractal going. And we're the three of us, we're all on the Eden Fractal team. We participate in the Eden Fractal and the Fractally meetings every Wednesday and Saturday. So we're very well rooted in the entire Fractally process. And so who knows, ZEOS could be one of the largest fractals. We're all a core part of the Eden Fractal team, and we're the second largest fractal outside of the Genesis Fractal. And so let's see where ZEOS goes. The ZEOS Fractal could definitely become a contender of being a top fractal. And super excited. We're super early. So for those who are just really interested in ZEOS, once we get this ZEOS Fractal launched, it's gonna be cool, because we'll see what happens there. And yeah, fractals are all about communities. So for the community here that's watching this, just let us know if this is something that excites you. Let us know in the comments. And obviously we're trying to do things as fast as possible to get things going. But if there's definitely a sense of urgency there, that'll become higher on the priority list of the many things that are going on with ZEOS. But yeah, so we'll go into our next question though.
Well, wait, hold on a second, Felix. I also want to share my thoughts about fractals too. Of course, you can't start talking about ZEOS Fractal and fractals and stuff and have me just move on. So
Yeah, true.
I'll try to be brief, because we are trying to focus this as much as possible on a quick and brief introduction. But I will share some thoughts that you, Felix, and you, Matthias, have inspired me about the fractal and ZEOS Fractal. I'm also thrilled about the ZEOS Fractal, and I'm very thrilled that Matthias is aiming to start it soon and is so excited about it. And the community, from what I saw, is also very supportive of it. And I think they'll be a lot more supportive soon when they see all the cool things coming out. So like Matthias was saying, and also like Felix was saying, like, it's a really great way that people can be rewarded for helping in all different ways, like people who are making cool art for ZEOS, or people who are just getting on conversations, doing podcasts, talking about why privacy matters and explaining ZEOS, introducing friends to ZEOS. Like, all these things can be rewarded in a credibly neutral process, and like a democratic process, and also a really fun process too. So the first place that I actually met Matthias, I've been following his work for a while, but the first place that we met, I believe, was the Eden Fractal event, like a couple months ago. It was one of the first ones, and it was a great experience. It was great getting to know you, and then that kind of sparked a lot of these conversations we've been having in some way. And then also, just yesterday, Felix, I listened to your video that you put up from the Genesis Fractal meeting number 23, where it was the first 2-round structure of the fractal process, where you and Matthias were in a room with Dan Larimer and James Mara and Dwayne and a bunch of other great contributors like Eric. And it was really cool listening to that. So it's also great content to be able to listen to. And then also, I want to say, Matthias, thank you so much also for your help with the Eden Fractal too. So you volunteered to help, and I know you've been meeting with Eden Fractal developers like Vlad. And so just a huge thank you to that. And I think that will be a lot of great collaborations between Genesis Fractal, Eden Fractal, ZEOS Fractal. And then also just touch on what you're saying about like decentralization. Like, it's necessary for protocols like ZEOS and all protocols really to have the decentralization and like the agility that's enabled by fractal governance, where communities can make decisions quickly and have people come together. And then in addition to that, there's also just like the fun and inspiring collaborations and all the great things that it inspires. So I could go on and on about this, and it'd be cool to do like a full episode just on the ZEOS Fractal at some point.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, absolutely. I suppose I'll move on to the next topic, unless anybody has any other thoughts about the ZEOS Fractal, or I also really want to hear about the ZEOS token too. So should I move on now?
Yeah, probably best, because I've got a lot of things in my mind about like, just stay tuned. The fractal with ZEOS and whatever that ends up being, like, I definitely see a lot of things. But yeah, probably best to move on to the next questions, because yeah, that's a whole nother ton of videos to come. So yeah, go ahead. Shoot that question away, Dan.
Okay, cool. Sounds great. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that ton of videos. But yeah, I'll ask now. Another question that's really exciting, a really exciting topic is the ZEOS token. So we talked about how ZEOS can enable all tokens on EOS to be private, but then ZEOS, the token, also plays a really big role in the ZEOS ecosystem, and it has lots of different functionalities and so forth. So I'm wondering, what is the purpose of the ZEOS token? What does it do? And then also, I think that related to the ZEOS fractal is that I think people can earn the ZEOS token by participating. And so I think that there's some sort of inflation going on with the ZEOS token, but yeah, I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts about what is a ZEOS token and how does it work basically? What's it do?
Right. So correct. Yeah, as you said, ZEOS will make basically all assets on EOS a privacy token. So that is not the special thing about the ZEOS token. All assets on EOS, including NFTs, will become privacy tokens. The purpose of the ZEOS token are multiple, several things. So what I mentioned earlier already was there will be a way where for you to be able to transact privately without EOS account. So ZEOS will be the fee token, or it's actually very comparable to Ethereum in that way, or to Ether, which is the gas token of Ethereum, right? And gas token means that you basically that the blockchain resources are denominated in that token, right? You pay for the gas on Ethereum, right, with Ether. And with ZEOS, it will be basically the exact same things. You will be able to transact privately on the EOS blockchain. And I'm really talking about all kinds of transactions. You will be able to conduct them privately by using the ZEOS proxy. Yeah, more on that in the future, how this is going to work in detail. For the token, it's just going to be important. Anyone who wants to use the ZEOS proxy needs, like you need a little bit of Ether in your MetaMask wallet to conduct Ethereum transactions. You will need a little bit of ZEOS in your ZEOS private wallet to conduct private transactions on the EOS blockchain. So that's number one. Then, as I said, for the Z assets, ZEOS will be the so-called share token. This is the token that is going to be burned or minted, in exchange for those synthetic assets. So, and then, as you said, it's going to be, basically the respect token or governance token of the ZEOS fractal. So, if you participate in the ZEOS fractal, you will earn ZEOS for your contributions. And I put out the ecosystem infographic. I know in this video we are maybe not yet be able to include all that because it was a little bit last minute, but for anyone who's interested, there's a Twitter thread about that. Maybe we also link that in the info box, the infographic about the ZEOS ecosystem, and you'll see there are several revenue streams, and those, like, the ZEOS token will be the main token in which all these revenues are being denominated, and in which also contributors are being rewarded, stakeholders, the staking rewards and all that will all be like the ZEOS token. Staking, I didn't talk about that, right? So you will be able to stake the token as well to earn rewards. So that is basically the reward for taking the risk of the Z assets. But this is something I will go into more detail in the future. So there will be attractive staking rewards for people who are willing to stake the token, because that is exactly what backs the Z assets. But more on that. There might be a whole video, right, about the tokenomics of ZEOS, because it's also not everything is finalized yet. But I want to leave that to the community if possible. So that's also the reason why I want to get the fractal up as soon as possible, because I don't even want to make all the decisions myself, right? I mean, I have some ideas, for ZEOS, but like when it really comes to the protocol decision and like really governance decision, I would really like to involve the community into that as well. And yeah, so right,
Okay, cool.
maybe we
Well,
leave
yeah.
it.
So, so one thing that I know, you have several Pomelo grants that are out there for ZEOS. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about them and which ones? Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, they're all important, but yeah, which ones that you really would want to focus on if in any particular one more than the other, or just briefly kind of touch on the different Pomelo grants that you have out there.
Right. I have two Pomelo grants this season. One is related to ZEOS privacy stuff. Basically, it's about the new proving system that I integrated into the ZEOS verifier from Pomelo season 1. It now supports two of the probably most exciting ZK Snark proving systems out there. The very well-known Growth 16 proving system, which is like the most widely adopted code base in the privacy space in crypto. And then the very new Halo 2 proving system, which just came out, was just rolled out on the Zcash mainnet a few weeks ago. It comes with a lot of improvements over Growth 16. The biggest thing being that the so-called trusted setup is not required anymore, which was like one of the biggest, like FUD points or FUD topics around ZK snarks in the past. Another interesting feature about this new proving system is recursive proof verification. It's also very technical. I don't want to get too deep into that, but it basically enables like much better scalability. You will be able to pack several proofs into one. So that's very important for it enables a lot of cool features for ZEOS, also more on that in the future, maybe. I just want to mention that real quick. This is like my grant, my ZEOS grant application regarding the public goods of ZEOS. Also, I want to note that I almost delivered on everything, that I applied for. And then there's a second grant application this time, which is about a true Web3 infrastructure for applications. So again, we just saw that this week, Tornado Cash was taken down by the US government. And it's not actually the application they took down, it's the front end of the application, right? Because Tornado Cash is a decentralized application that lives on the Ethereum blockchain. So it's impossible to take that down. But what they took down is like the front end. And this is a thing that you see in the crypto space with all applications today. They are not truly decentralized because almost all of them still rely on this centralized web service to deliver the front end. And this is like, like a single point of failure for those applications. I mean, skilled users are still able to use Tornado Cash, right? Because you know how to use, like MetaMask or, how to interact with the blockchain without front end. But most of the users, without UI, they don't know how to use the app. So the second application is for Web3 infrastructure on the EOS blockchain. It will make applications truly decentralized. And I called it immortal because that's basically what it is. You will be able to host your front end for free in decentralized storage, like for instance, liquid storage of the DApp network, but other decentralized storage solutions are possible as well, right? I was also thinking maybe to integrate BitTorrent or something, right? So there are a lot of possibilities to enable decentralized hosting, and then part of that project will also be an EOS DNS system, or domain name system, basically, where EOS accounts will become like Web3 addresses, and then we will provide a little browser application, not an entirely new web browser. You will just be able to use your common web browser like Brave or Firefox or whatever. And you will be able to execute our browser application, which is really just a little standalone JavaScript application. And that's all. Under the hood, this JavaScript application will make use of our EOS DNS and fetch the applications from liquid storage or any decentralized storage, and then renders them inside the browser. It has a lot of cool benefits for the user, but again, the most important one being that it will be impossible for any government or whatever to take down your front end because it's hosted on decentralized storage. And the way we will, build the browser application is so that it really, avoids any traditional DNS. It will really just be based on IP and HTTPS basically. So the absolute basic internet protocols, and nothing that government will be able to take down easily. So yeah, those are our two grant applications. I want to thank everyone who's supporting this. I mean, obviously ZEOS is receiving a lot of support since the beginning. It enables me now to even, delegate work to other developers that I can pay now. So yeah, I just want to say that thank you everybody who donated to my grant applications. It's much appreciated, and it secures important developer jobs in the ecosystem. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, sounds great, Matthias. I encourage everybody to check out those grants at pomelo.io for, I believe it's pomelo.io/grants/web3 and pomelo.io/grants/ZEOS. Or you could search there if it's not. I'm also a huge fan of the dApp network and the dApp network services like Liquid Storage and all those. So thanks so much for helping to support the dApp network as well. And the Immortal app sound great. And then the ZEOS grants. So yeah, thank you very much for all the excellent development, Matthias. Thank you also to Felix and thank you, Felix, for co-hosting this and helping Matthias get the word out about all these great tools. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Really appreciate you joining us today. And there's much more coming soon. I'm looking forward to much more talks and working together on all these cool ZEOS projects. And then wrapping it up, I'd be curious if anybody has any closing thoughts. And I'd also be curious, where's the best place for people to follow ZEOS and to follow you, Matthias, and learn more about your work? I know we mentioned ZEOS.one before, which is a great website with a lot of information. I think you guys also have a Twitter account. You have a personal Twitter account. Yeah, so I'd be curious if you guys have closing thoughts and then also places that you recommend that the audience checks out to learn more.
Right. Yeah, as you mentioned, there's the website and Telegram and all that. So everything is still in the making. So including the website, it's an ongoing work in progress as the project moves forward and more stuff is being added. So yeah, ZEOS.one is our website. There are Telegram channels. Maybe we can also put all the links down in the description of the video.
Yep, we will.
There's a Discord channel. I think those are probably, if you really want to join the community, join Telegram, join Discord. We are very active over there. And yeah, if you want to read a little bit more in depth, check out the white paper. As I think Dan or Felix mentioned earlier, it's also linked on the website. We will also link it in the description. And yeah, I think that's about it.
All right,
cool. And then subscribe to our YouTube channel where you probably watched this video. We will try to put out more in the future. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say is, go check out the description. That's where all of this information of where you want to get additional information, where to follow ZEOS. But yeah, the probably first step, subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're gonna be providing updates here periodically, and yeah, that's gonna be a great starting point. But yeah, definitely hit up the Telegram and Discord because that's where a lot of the active engagement is happening. But yeah, definitely too, here this YouTube channel. Leave your comments, we'll be checking those, and yeah, we're excited to bring you guys more content. And yeah, thank you, Dan, thank you, Matthias. I'm excited for the future, and this is just the beginning. So I hope you guys all enjoyed that, and with that said, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Catch you later. Thanks, everyone. Go ZEOS.
Go ZEOS.